He's not a violent guy who's talking to people on college campuses. Wasn't even particularly rude. Who's tried to be pretty reasonable with people.
Everything I saw seemed reasonable.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
You know, whether you agree with him or don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with him on. That's fine. You're allowed to disagree with people without celebrating the fact they got
But you can't disrespect his passion.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands, good fathers like mine. We need that. And young women, we need you to also rise up. Don't compromise yourself. Don't look at other women and compare yourself. God has created you for a purpose and a reason far greater than you and I will ever know on this side of heaven. But just know that as long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, you have us by your side, and we will be there for you every step of the way.
The moment Erika Kirk defended Tyler Robinson in court, everything changed, and Joe Rogan didn't hold back, because that single moment flipped the entire narrative, turning quiet doubts into loud reactions. And suddenly, people weren't just watching, they were questioning everything. And now, the focus isn't just on what she did in that courtroom, it's why Charlie's own family is reacting. Like this is a side of her they've been seeing all along. The reaction didn't build slowly this time, it hit all at once. Because the moment Erika Kirk stood in that courtroom and started defending Tyler Robinson, people froze. Not just because of what she said, but how she said it. She didn't sound distant or panicked. She spoke with a level of calm that didn't match the weight of the moment. She described him as a young man, emphasized his background, and then went even further, saying he shouldn't let anyone disenfranchise him because he is not only young, but also white. She said she forgave him, not just privately, but publicly, said she prays for him. And that right there is what flipped everything.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted, that will be good leaders, good husbands.
Because forgiveness is one thing, but the way it was delivered in that setting about the man tied to her husband's death, that's what made people stop and look twice, including Joe Rogan. Now, Joe doesn't jump into everything, but when this started circulating, his reaction wasn't subtle. He questioned the tone, the timing, and more importantly, what kind of mindset leads someone to defend a man in that position so openly? Joe Rogan questioned it directly, saying, "You're doing an acting gig for the CIA or something. Who even called you for that?" And then he followed it up with what a lot of people have been whispering but never saying out loud. There's a lot of people who think she wasn't just his wife, they think she was his handler.
There's a thing that people want, right? That attention, fame thing.
Yeah.
That is what they really want. Okay, so Jamie will find it.
She's got fireworks behind her. She's wild.
Erika Kirk CIA video releases serious questions.
That's the one I just played.
Yeah.
It had a 5-second clip and the rest was not.
Oh, but the full video's out there. I watched it, and it's very weird.
So it's the same video.
So see if you play it. It's about EMP attacks and power grids.
The whole rest of this was not that clip.
None of it?
Nope.
Well, a gig's a gig. I think if you're a struggling actor, you'd take any kind of employee video or whatever.
I guarantee you that video's out there. I mean, no one could have pulled it. Well, there's the Jimmy Dore video there. Here it is. Look at this.
Extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made EMP. So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures.
It's weird, but
very weird. She's doing a CIA informational video.
Weird.
Like an acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps, or but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
Yeah. It's odd. Well, there's a lot of people that think that she was his handler. She was Charlie Kirk's handler. But of course, there's a lot of people that think I have handlers.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you got about 9 Navy SEALs out there.
They're not. They're my friends. They're not handlers. I know those guys.
Okay. Well, they're tough dudes.
You think they are? They are tough dudes. Yeah.
They know some stuff.
There's a lot of kooks out there, bro.
That's true.
And that's when this stopped being just about a courtroom moment, but about Erika. Because once people got past the shock, they started connecting it to everything that had already been building around her. The inconsistencies, past narratives, and the way her story has kept shifting over time. Now bring in Charlie's family. Because while the internet was reacting in real time, the people closest to Charlie weren't surprised in the same way. And that's what made their reaction hit harder. Reports and insiders have already suggested there's been tension for a while. His parents still dealing with the loss, processing what happened, and now watching this unfold. And then his sister, she had already shown discomfort with how Erika handled things before, from public appearances to how certain events were presented after Charlie's death. So when Erika stepped into that courtroom and spoke the way she did, it didn't land as a one-time shock. It landed like a pattern continuing, because this isn't the first time people have questioned how Erika presents herself versus what shows up later. If you go back before Charlie, there's a completely different version of her that starts to surface. Public relationships she later denied, footage of a lifestyle that didn't match the image she eventually built. She's been caught on camera, drinking, partying, socializing, living a very public, very social lifestyle in New York, not once, but repeatedly. Statements that positioned her one way while receipts showed something else entirely. She positioned herself as separate, purified by discipline, set apart by faith. And that's where things start to connect, because when someone has a history of reshaping their story, people start looking at current actions differently, not as separate decisions, but as part of a bigger pattern.
I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself need to be prepared for that man, and only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls?
Now bring Joe Rogan back into it, because his reaction didn't just focus on the courtroom, it tapped into something deeper. The idea that behavior like that doesn't come out of nowhere, and that's what he pointed at. Not directly accusing, but questioning why the tone felt off. Why would she feel empathy for Tyler? He also said her actions didn't look like she was grieving, and once that perspective got out, people started rewatching everything. Old clips, interview, and public appearances. Even the way Erika spoke about Charlie in the past, and what they saw started to feel different. And that difference is what Joe Rogan reacted to. Going back to Charlie, through all of this, one thing keeps standing out. The way he spoke about Erika, how he described her, the image he believed in. And when you place that next to what's coming out now, it raises a quiet question. Did he know this version of her? Or was he seeing something completely different?
To understand how to be a biblical woman in society. I think it was Elizabeth Elliot that said, being a woman does not make me a better Christian or a certain Christian, but being a Christian makes me a very different woman. And I think understanding, yes, your biblical role, but also be the woman that your future husband deserves. Be the woman that, God wants you to be. You don't have to be out partying. Don't be crazy thinking I'm running out of time when your God is the author of time.
Because the gap between those two versions is what people are trying to understand. And it's also what his family is reacting to. Not just the courtroom moment, but everything around it. The tone, choices, and direction things have taken since he's been gone. And for them, this is really personal. They're still dealing with loss, questions, and now, on top of that, watching the person closest to him publicly defend the man connected to his death. That's not something you just process and move on from. So now everything circles back to that one moment in the courtroom. What looked like a statement and mere forgiveness felt like something much bigger to a lot of people. Because when Joe Rogan and Charlie's family react, and when past patterns start lining up with present behavior, it stops feeling like a coincidence, but a story that's still unfolding. So now the real questions to ask: why did Erika take that stance so publicly? What does she know that others don't? And why does it feel like the people closest to Charlie have been bracing for something like this? Because if this was just about forgiveness, the reaction wouldn't look like this. So what is it really about? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because this story is far from over.